hope we're all right and enjoying the day so far. I'll just pull up people's comments so I can see. Please leave me a comment or a smiley face or whatever when you get here. Smiley face, no, heart, you know, that sort of thing. Emoji. Please excuse the clutter on my desk. Right, let's see who's here. Just me at the moment, I think. Hello Moira, hello Alison. Yes, grab yourself a cuppa, Alison. I bet you've just got in, haven't you? Right, I've got a few samples to show you to start off with, and then I will get on with a little bit of a demo. Please excuse the wobble. I really must try and tighten up the thing that's holding the phone, because it seems to have developed a bit of a wobble. So anybody walking past is setting it off. Okay, so I'll go through these things on my desk, and then hopefully there'll be a few more people join us in a few minutes. So I think we've got 2 people here at the moment. Do you know, Facebook's being silly, because I can see there's at least 3 people here, if not more, and my phone's just saying there's 1, which I know isn't true. So here's I'll start off with this. So I have made a candle. Well, I didn't make the candle, I bought the candle, and I stamped the daffodil onto tissue paper, and I've coloured it in with coloured pencils, and I think it makes a really beautiful gift, that does. Ideal for Mother's Day. So that's one of the things that I've done with the daffodil. And it's the perfect height. If you're going out shopping for candles, top tip, take this bit with you, because then you can measure it against the candle and make sure it fits. Yeah, so there you go, my top tip for the day. So there's my candle. Right, I'm going to put that to one side, because knowing me, I will send it flying. Right, this I was going to put it on the front of a card. It's just a piece of vellum that I've stamped with the smaller, hi Bev, I stamped it with the smaller daffodil and embossed in white, and then painted the daffodils on it. It's obviously, with it being embossed and with being vellum, it's not a great idea to put a real tea light inside it, but just to show you, hang on, let me get this. I've got one of these plastic ones, look, and if you put it inside, I don't know if you can see that, it just makes like a nice table decoration or whatever, something to put on your table. So and I think they came from the pound shop, something like that. So that's another idea of something that you can do with them. And again, I'll put it out of the way, because knowing me, I'll knock it on the floor and tread on it. So here's just a very simple card that is just the tulip stamped 5 times and then coloured in different ways. Hi Kim. And that lovely border along the bottom and the sentiment. Right, then I've got some bigger cards. So the daisy, so that's like a single layer background, and then I've used inkables on it, as I've used the Bakewell inkable on it a little bit as well. Pastel colours, unusual for me, and a bit of sparkly pen. That's the Jelly Roll Stardust, I think it's called, that one of those that you get in the pack. And then I've just stamped Daisy, 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 Daisy on it. Okay. Then the daffodil again, this time in very vibrant colours. So this, on the background here, I used a twisted citron, mustard seed and spice marmalade for those colours. I do love them. I love them all, but the daffodil might just be my favourite. I don't know. So this one is a little bit more sort of vintage colours. Again, I used tag inkables on background. And all of those stamps come from the sets that have been released today. Hi Dominique, lovely to have you here. And that I embossed in gold, so you can see, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then on to a couple of journal pages. So this one was an idea that I had in my head that's not quite worked out the way I intended, but I'm reasonably, I like it this way round. It's just the backs of the pages I hadn't really thought through, so there's some sort of randomly stuck flowers in places where my cutting out wasn't great. Which I could have not shown you, but I'm showing you anyway because, you know, nobody's perfect. Yeah, so I just stuck one of each of the flowers on the end of the page, and I think what I probably should have done was just gone with the line of the stem, and did them over like 3 pages. Oh, thank you. It didn't quite work out the way I intended, but it's all right. It's all right. Okay, and then finally this page, which I'd done the background before, so it was smooshed inks, and it's picked raspberry and I'm trying to think which other one it was. Mermaid Lagoon, I think. Or was it? No, Salty Ocean. And then I used quite a few of the stamps from the little worker stamps from Journaling Essentials 9. And then when I'd coloured in my flowers, I did the big daisy and then the other 3 in the smaller size and added the sentiment. So there you go. That's a few of the things that I've done. But I tell you now, these stamps are going to be out and being used lots and lots and lots. So I thought what I'd do today is I'd do a card, and I'd got this card, and I've got another, so I'm going to do something on this and then stamp a flower and put it over the top. Okay, so a card came up in my memories the other day, where I'd used some papers and some lace to make the background, so I thought I'd do something similar today. And this happened to be at the top of the pile of bits of paper that I got, and looking at that, it's quite a few of similar colours to what's in the palette at the moment. So I thought we would use these and make a similar background, and then we can use the colours that Bev selected for the palette this week. Okay, so I'm going to tear some strips. So I've got a monochrome page, I've got a coloured page, and then I've got some bits of lace. So I'm just tearing these into strips, basically. These stamps are definitely going to be staying on the table for some time, definitely. I'll just have another. Right, so now I've got a selection of papers. I'm going to use some matte medium on here, and I know I've got a pot of it somewhere nearby. Just trying to spot where it is. Maybe I've put it away. Silly me. Right, I'll use me bottle instead then. Yes, ideal that these are going to be suitable for the challenge, because I can see you're all going to be really busy using them, and then you can enter everything you make with them into the challenge this month. Don't you think that was clever planning? Right. I'm going to start with this one because I've not snipped the white edge off, but if I stick it so it'll hang over the edge, then that can be the bottom bit. And I'll have a monochrome bit next. Right, spread a bit more. Hopefully, sorry, I've gone off camera a bit there. Let's move it up a bit. I think I'll have it that way round. And then another black and white bit. Oh, fabulous. That bit next. Oh, not quite covered it. There we go. Just tear a little bit more of that off. There we go. Bit. And then this bit on the top. I'll just make sure it's right up to the edge there. There we go. Right, so next I'm going to cut off, so I'll turn it over and then I can cut off the excess. Could do this with paper cutter, might be slightly straighter if I did, but it's wet at the moment, so I'm better off with scissors. Oh, that's not quite. What I will do is trim that off with a paper cutter, that bottom edge, because I want that rid of the white bit. I'll stick that in my water for a minute. There we go. So, I mean, this is a great way of using up the scraps. If you've got scraps of paper from other projects, it's a great way of using the bits up. Oh, thanks, Jeanette. Right, so far then, I'm going to add on some lace now. Now I've got a bag of little bits of all sorts of lacy bits. So I'm going to use some of this in strips across. I might use a mixture actually, because I've got that with those flowers on as well, which might be quite nice to put a couple of bits on. Okay, and then a couple of bits of this too. Might have just no, the wider one. That wide one's too wide, really. Maybe a bit of that one. And I think before I stick those down, I'm just going to add a bit of ink around the edge of this. So maybe some prize ribbon, I think. Okay, so then I'll go in with my matte medium again, and I'm just going to put it along the bits where the paper changes from one sort to another. So on there, for example, and then I'll use different sort of ribbon for this one. Lace, sorry, not ribbon. Pop that one on there. And different one for that one. You could do this with ribbon as well. It's just nice to have some different textures in there. Come on, you stick down. Thank you. Another one along here. And the final one up there. So, that one. And obviously you can, you know, you could use some of the distress inks to make it look slightly more vintage if you wanted to. I might just put a little bit more that medium on there, so that one doesn't feel like it's sticking particularly well. There we go. It will do now. Right, I'm just going to trim off the bits that are close to the edge, and then I'll set it aside to dry. Oh. There we go. And then if I just pop that on top of here, you'll be able to see what that background's going to look like. That's another one that's not sticking down very well. Excuse me a minute. That one. There it is. Just needs a little bit more at the edge. There we go. And when that dries, I might need to trim the edges again a little bit more, but as you can see, it stands out nicely against that base card. So I'll just pop that to one side, and then we'll decide what flower we're going to put on there. What do we think? You tell me. So let's have a look at these stamps again. So we could have the Lilius, we could have the daffodil, we could have the tulip, or we could have the daisy. You decide. You tell me what you fancy. Hopefully we'll get a comment in a minute. Right, Alison says the daisy. Any more takers? Daisy. Okay, we'll go for the daisy then. I know that's the one that Sam used in her live earlier, but I think it's going to be different enough, isn't it? And just so you can see the difference in size, I've also got out this. So this is the Sketchy Flowers sheet. So you've got this size, and then this tiny one. Oh, Jeanette's saying daffodil. What do we reckon? Daisy or daffodil? I might go with Jeanette, actually. Sorry, girls. And Kim. Yeah. We'll go for the daffodil. You could see the beautiful creation that Sam did earlier, and then she said that I was going to do something spectacular, and it really isn't going to be spectacular. It'd be nice. I started watching Bev's live earlier, just a few minutes after it had started, and I think my comments were coming out of sync with what was happening, and there were times where I put a comment and it didn't quite go with the rest of it, so I wasn't laughing at I was laughing at Bev saying that I was what was it, tiny and terrifying? Not at Bev, then somebody saying that Bev's face should be in the corner of the screen. Sorry. Right, so as you can see, absolutely gorgeous. I just love this one. I love it. It's beautiful. Right, so let's colour this in. Right. Just looking around, and I've got my Ecoline pens here. So there's a light yellow. That one is light orange. And somewhere, the deep yellow. She says it's here somewhere. I'll find it in a minute. There we go. Deep yellow. And then for the green bit, that one is grass green. And that one is spring green. So I'm just going to bring that background back in a minute. Just have a look. Yeah, those will tie in nicely, look, with the background as well. So that's good. Right, so right, I'll start off with the deep yellow. And just going to go around the outside of those petals. Yeah, so definitely want to have another go at one of those sets of journal pages where you sort of trim off previous pages, but I just need to find the best way of doing it, and it might just be a case of tearing the pages and then putting something over the top. I don't know, but I might over the next few weeks I'm going to be thinking about that and have a go at doing it a little bit better than I did for me journal page that I showed you earlier, because the back of the pages didn't look right. There we go. Then I'm going to go in for the trumpet part with the light orange. I have a narcissus. And then again go over with the deep yellow. Like that. Okay. Right, so with the green, this is the grass green, and I go down the outer part of the leaves with that. I've done half the stem, and then I'll come in with the spring green. This one is, it's more sort of a slightly more limey shade. There we go. Just going to go over that bit there. There we go. Now I'm going to cut this out. So this is the point where I go all quiet. There we go. It's my little scissors. Yes, it is. It's super smooth card. But this particular one, I can't remember where it was from. It takes the Ecoline pens really well and blends them without disintegrating, because you get some super smooth cards that are they don't take wetness, or they go blotchy, and so it's just a case of experimenting with your card and seeing what you've got. I know I had some card that if you put water anywhere near it, it just the surface of it came apart very easily. But this one's pretty good. Now, when you when Alison and Kaylee have uploaded their samples as well, you'll find them. They're in the. I've created an album in the group, and I'm sure before the evening's out that have both uploaded their samples as well. And there's some beauties in there, so do go and have a look. And hopefully we're inspiring you to have a go at doing something as soon as you get these stamps. And I'm seriously contemplating actually doing a set of candles with each of the stamps on them, because they just lend themselves to decorating a candle. I just need to see where I got that the candle from that I put the what's it on? Daffodil on. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have a go at doing it on book, doing them on book page as well, because I saw, if you have a look at the ones that Bev did in the first live, they just look gorgeous. So as you can see, pretty easy to cut out. Yeah, a whole set of candles. Right, so let's bring our background back in and have a look. See, looks good, doesn't it? So this is still quite damp where I put the lace on, so I think I might just try and encourage it dry a bit with a heat tool. And I think it's Kaylee who's also done a pair of shrink plastic daffodil earrings, which look rather good. So I think definitely ought to get the shrink plastic out. Right, I'm going to stick this down with matte medium as well. The way up, I think. That way up. There. At this point, I stick myself to it. Okay. And then I might just slightly shape this. Just curve the petals back a bit because it's so it doesn't stick up in the air too much once I stick it down. Actually, before I stick it down, I'm going to put some white pen on it. I've decided. Right, I'll put that to one side a minute. Get my white pen. And then I'll have a little bit around the edge too. So do take a look at the website and have a look at the fabulous new papers too. The Catalyst collage papers that are on there, and the sort of technique that I've used with the Catalyst cards you could easily do with your offcuts of collage papers too. You know, when you trim down and you've just got little strips of the stuff, I've got some there, look. So something like that, it's dead easy to do something like that with that. Okay. Oh, stem as well on there. Right, so I'll have a nice dotty line up the stem. go. And then just give that a quick waft with the heat tool so it's definitely dry. So I don't smudge it, because I know what I'm like. Okay, and then on the back, I'll have some more matte medium. I'm just going to hold it down for a second, make sure it sticks in all the places I want it to stick. Okay, and then all we need is a little sentiment, and just as it happens, I've got the flowers are happy one there. Let me just wipe that splodge of that medium a minute. That's better. Right, so I will ink around the edges of this as well with the same blue ink as I've done around the base card. There we go. And then pop that on. Just there. That's not sticking down as much as I wanted it to, so I'll just put a blob of glue underneath. And underneath this bit as well. I think this is going to be a case of popping something heavy on the top of it and leaving it for a bit. So, there we go. Right, let's just something to lift that up a little bit so you can have a closer look. I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget to check out all the new stuff on the website. It is absolutely beautiful and you definitely need it. Okay, so the next live is Try It Out Tuesday tonight, where I'm sure Bev will produce something absolutely beautiful like she always does. Thanks for joining me, and yeah, if you haven't seen the other lives, go and catch up on those, and don't forget to look at the DT's the creative team's samples on the Be Crafty group, and you can enter the challenge with them. Okay, thanks for looking. Bye. Oh, excuse me, I can't reach the finish button. I'll just have to pull it out a minute. There we go.